Give everybody some time to hop in. We'll get started. We are on day 3. So who is kicking butt? Who is really participating, playing full out, and getting some momentum going? I would love to hear your questions before we get started. Let me know if you've gotten through day 1 and day 2. I did post some instructions on how to change this from a PDF. If you're going through the worksheet, you can change it from a PDF to a Word document. I posted instructions in the file section, so you can just import it right into there and you'll be able to go in and fill it out online if you prefer to do that as opposed to printing it out. So, hey Amanda. So go ahead and jump in the file section if you need help figuring out how to make that a Word document. From there, if you like to keep it online, you can always upload it to the Google Drive, and then you'll have access to it virtually. So someone asked about that earlier, so I want to make sure that you know how to do that. Today's focus is really going to be about how to shift your mindset into being solution-focused, into being results-oriented, and not so much dwelling on the problem itself. So getting you into more of the action steps. How does that sound? So I'll give you a few moments to jump in. I have some notes for this one because I created a pretty long action step for you for the visualization. I'm going to work through it online, and then you can check back independently and go through the worksheet. So in the meantime, if you have any questions about the last 2 days, if you're live, feel free to ask them now, or if you catch this on the replay, go ahead and put your questions in the comments section, and I'll respond as soon as I see them. If you can, try to tag me, though. Sometimes, because there's so many notes coming in, I might miss something, and I don't want to not answer your question. So go ahead and tag me, and I can respond from there. So I'm going to jump in and get started. And like I said, we're going to talk about being solution-focused, right? So I'm sure that maybe yourself personally, or you know someone who, when something happens, it's like their world is coming to an end. Everything is a problem. And you went from having, you know, a problem at work, now it's a problem at home that day. It's a problem, you know, when you're driving in your car and you're in traffic, whatever it is, all of a sudden everything is just a problem. And if you know anyone like that, it's pretty exhausting, right? Because all they're doing is complaining, woe is me, everything is wrong, the world is against me. Not exactly fun to be around. Some people are less vocal with it, and you may have those thoughts going through your mind. Why is this happening to me? Why does this always happen to me? And just a trick, if you catch yourself using the word always and never, erase it. Because as soon as you do that, you're wiping out the possibility of anything else from happening. So if you're in your mind and you're saying, why does this always happen to me? Why can I never have this? Why do I never do well at this? Why do they always take my ideas? Why am I never good enough to do this? Always and never, get it out of your vocabulary, because all it's doing is blocking out the possibility of shifting into change. So catch yourself when you say always and never, and especially in the negative mind, get rid of it, because it's only hurting you. But what I want you to do is start shifting into being more results-oriented and away from these stories, away from the excuses of what's holding you back, and shifting that into a more action-oriented problem-solving mode. So if you're looking for solution and you're genuinely curious, you can only experience one emotion at a time. So if you put your heart and soul into curiosity, you can't be negative on yourself. Pretty interesting, right? So, and I don't mean curious in the way of why does this always happen to me? Because like I said, that's not going to help you. Better questions, better results. So think of open-ended questions. How can I do this better? What do I need to do in order to achieve this? Open-ended, action-oriented questions are going to get you better results than sitting in, let's just call it a pity party, and repeating the same situation over and over. It's not going to get you moving forward. So the goal today is to get you into a resolution-minded frame of mind. What I want you to do is, and maybe this is something that you've been working on that ties into your goals, or maybe this is something different, but what I want you to do is think about a time in your life where you experienced doubt, okay? And just think about it. Something that happened where you experienced doubt in yourself, something where you didn't believe in yourself, you maybe self-sabotaged and came up with a whole slew of reasons why you can't move forward. And just think about that time in your life, okay? And what was happening there? What was coming up for you, the emotions? Was there a feeling of giving up? Was there self-criticism? Was there self-doubt? Just notice what the thoughts were around that. And think about the real depth of the emotion, not just the surface, like I wish I had that, but what did you really, really feel, right? Go into the core beliefs that were triggered for you when something didn't work out. Maybe you felt like you failed. Maybe you felt like you weren't good enough. What were the stories that came up with it? And maybe you didn't even feel doubt in yourself. Maybe you shifted the blame. It's everybody else's fault, right? Oh, well, they didn't teach me how to do that. They were supposed to do this. And if you're not accepting your own responsibility in whatever didn't work out for you, and you're shifting the blame on everyone else, well, that's a problem too, because you want to look at yourself. We all can take control of anything in our life. We just have to be able to step up and take the action that's needed to get the results that we want, right? So we're going to start working on no more excuses. No more, I'm not good enough. No more, I'm not smart enough. No more, I didn't know how to do it. No one told me. Just, those are excuses. Those are stories. And those are focusing on the problem. We don't want to focus on the problem. We want to focus on the result. So it's going to open up your mind into more possibilities as opposed to that tunnel vision. It's very limiting when you're looking at all the problems. You get tunnel vision and all you see is the problem. You want to break open that tunnel and it's wide open. Now it's getting into your peripherals, right? You could see to the left, you could see to the right, you could see beyond, you could see above and below. It's wide open. And that's the kind of mindset that you want when you're starting to step into the results and the action. Okay, are you guys following? Any questions so far? Okay, I don't see any comments. So now we're going to go into the exercise itself. All right, this goes along with the worksheet. So if you happen to already open up the worksheet, then you can check in from there. What I want you to do is visualize this instance in your life that happened where you either doubted yourself or gave up or felt like you failed, whatever the negative story was. But just, I want you to think about it. But the difference is, I want you to take yourself out of the equation and you're now an observer in a room. I want you to imagine a wide open room of, say, 50 people having a conversation amongst themselves, maybe like imagine like a networking event. People are mingling and having conversations. And you're sitting on the balcony and you're overlooking the room. And the people that were closest to you happen to be talking about this event or incident or occurrence where you felt like you failed. And it's almost like you're stepping outside of yourself, because I want you to see what you were saying at that time and what others were saying to you. I want you to notice the words that you were using. I want you to notice the body, the energy, how you were positioned when you were talking, and how others were responding to you. I want you to notice what they were saying about you. I want you to take in what they were saying. Remember yesterday we talked about taking feedback and how to take in feedback to do better and not to use it as a way to self-sabotage. So if they're giving you feedback and you're not loving it, take it in, right? And now you're looking at this as an observer and you're seeing this conversation taking place. You're seeing a few people talking amongst you and you're hearing the conversation. You're noticing the body language. You're noticing the energy. Make this really crisp and clear what you're seeing. And if you have to, close your eyes for a few moments and take a look in that room and tell me what you hear. Tell me what you see in this instance. Okay? The thoughts that maybe you were holding in yourself, you're now saying out loud, and you're sharing with the people that are with you in the room. I want you to, in the worksheet, write down what this story was and what you heard and what the others were saying, okay? And notice what was missing, okay? What do you think was missing in that moment? Now that you're looking at it from an overview, what was missing that you needed? Try to give yourself good, solid, constructive feedback. What was missing? If only you had X, things would have been different. What was it? Was it something that you needed to say differently, do differently? Did you need different materials? What could have made that situation better for you? Okay? So you've seen the situation as an observer, and now as an observer, you're looking to see what was needed to correct it. So you're taking yourself out of the equation. You tend to be less emotionally attached if you can look at the situation objectively as an observer. Okay? Now, I want you to jump ahead and think about what was the best possible outcome that you could have had. What did you anticipate the outcome being? So you anticipated it to be here, but it ended up here. Why was that? What was missing in between? What could you have done to contribute to it to get it up here? You wanted it up here. This is the result you got. This is what you ended up with. What happened? So there's something that happened in the middle, right? So now we're looking at it objectively. Okay, I wanted to be here. I ended up here. But if I had done A, B, and C, I could have gotten here. So now you're looking at the action steps. You're looking at, you're reverse engineering it. Okay, it didn't work the first time. Let's try it again. Many people have ideas, and it doesn't work out the first time. It needs some tweaking. It needs some adjustments. Whatever it might be. You started a business. It didn't work out. It's because you didn't understand, I don't know, how to use social media for marketing. Now you've done the research. Now you know how, or you found someone to do it for you. Great. Now you can revisit that business idea and start getting the word out there. I'm just giving you an idea. We've all had things that we anticipated were going to end up here and ended up way over there, right? But if you just try it one time and give up and you just let it sit over there and do nothing with it, you're probably not going to get too far. But if you take that from over there and you look at it and analyze it and see, what can I do better? Because remember, you're thinking about improvement. You're thinking about growth. And you're analyzing it. You're not dwelling on the problem. You're not dwelling on the fact that it didn't work out for you. You're focused, right? So it's very different energy. And look at what you learned from the experience. Anything that happens in our lives, whether it's frustrating, negative, difficult, whatever energy it was, there is always a lesson to walk away from. So you're looking at a series of questions to try to make it better, and then finally the lesson that you learned. So what could have been the best possible outcome? What could you have done to contribute to make that happen? How could you have done things differently? And finally, when you find the lesson, who did you need to be to achieve that? So now that you know what the lesson is, how do you need to shift who you are or what you're doing to be able to achieve that going forward, right? Because now if you have the tools and you know what you need to do to achieve it, you can go back, revisit it, and make that happen. So that's what the goal is. What I want you to do is go through the worksheet that I made for you, go through the action steps, and then figure out what you needed to do differently. Go back and try to revisit that exact problem if you can, and come up with a better resolution. So anytime something comes up now, these are the steps that you want to follow. Okay, so a problem comes up. Get out of the mindset of what didn't work for you, what was where you failed, where you could have done better. Stop beating yourself up and just look at how to do it better. Not that you didn't do it right, how can you do it right? So do you see the difference if you're looking at how to solve a problem as opposed to just looking at the problem itself? This is going to get you into the momentum of taking actionable steps. If, for myself, I have two businesses, and it took a lot to kind of get the ball rolling. But if I just tried one thing and it didn't work and I gave up, I would have been back at a regular 9-to-5 job by now. And that's not what I want. I wanted to have that freedom and that ability to work where I wanted, when I wanted. And it takes commitment. It takes an open mind. It takes curiosity. And it's something that anyone can do. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, it doesn't mean that because you didn't work the first time that you can't do it. Or if you see someone else doing it and you can't, it doesn't mean you can never have it, right? It just means you need to approach it differently and find the way that will make it happen. So let me know before we go if you have any questions at all. Let me know if this is helping, if these worksheets are giving you some tools that maybe you didn't try before, and let me know how it's going. If you're catching this on the replay, make sure to post your question in the comments, tag me if you can, and I'll jump in and answer whatever questions that you have. But I want to make sure that you're getting the most out of this. Each day, as you can see, kind of leads into the next one. So if you're coming in late and you're on day 3, jump back and go to day 1 and day 2. So day 3 is going to be more powerful for you. Each day feeds into the next. Make sense? So I'll hang out for a second. Post your questions in the comments if you have any questions. Otherwise, I am excited to see your results, what comes up for you, and share it online. So remember, share and declare. I'm going to keep saying that in every single thing until you do it. Share and declare. Once you start putting it out there and once you start sharing with people your experience, your thoughts, what you're calling out for yourself, then you start to see the action steps. So that's what I want for you. One final thing that I want to share with you that I think is really funny. My website, I saw this today, is completely off topic, but I had to share. My website is teal green and lime green. So it's 2 different shades. And I just realized the other day out of nowhere that my couch is lime green and my walls are teal and my little accent pillows are golden white, which is exactly my website, and I never connected the 2. So I'm just sharing. So if you see over here, can you see that? See the teal and the green and the gold? Just thought that was funny, right? So we definitely have things that we love and patterns and things like that. So anyway, just a little personal share. And I look forward to hearing from you guys.